9440. 4405. 944405. 1905.
Hello and welcome. I'm Jon Garlick, and I'm here with Captain Joey Stone, and this is Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Joey, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you, John.
It's nice to have you on the show.
Well, thank you.
You look
glad
sharp.
to be here. Well, I appreciate it.
And
you look sharp, too.
Well, thank you. And speaking of sharp, your deputies did a great job last week. Let's look at the count. How many we got?
We got 4 more, bringing our total up to 5,109.
Fantastic. People working hard to support the sheriff's office.
That's right, and we need those tips from citizens. You know, we publish our Most Wanted every week, and people call in and let us know where they're at, and we'll go pick them up. So just keep those calls coming, and we'll keep getting out there and picking them up.
And you need some more people to help you do all that picking up, don't you?
Absolutely. We can always use more people. We could use more people in the jail, dispatch, deputy sheriffs. We're always hiring. We're actually, the county commission just approved a $1.25 pay raise across the board for everyone.
Oh, there you go.
So get that pay up a little bit. We got great benefits working at the sheriff's office. So, you know, I encourage people, if you're interested in a job in law enforcement, to come on down and put in an application.
Fantastic. So if you're looking to change your careers or start a new career, the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office, serving the community, and can help you serve your community as well. Stay with us. We've got the first half of our lineup coming up, and then our favorite mayor from Hobson City will be with us again this week. So stay with us here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. The first half of our lineup brought to you this week by Abe's Ace Bail Bonds, 256-831-0074. And first up in our first half of the lineup is Justin Wade. Mr. Wade, last known to be living in Heflin. He's wanted for a failure to appear for theft of property first. And take a look at Lewis Abbott Jr. Mr. Abbott, last known to be living in Harpersville. He's wanted on a probation violation for burglary third. And this is Earl Davis. Mr. Davis, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted on a probation violation for attempting a controlled substance crime. And this is Ashley Lockwood. Miss Lockwood, last known to be living in Jacksonville. She's wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. And take a look at Deanna Telefero. Miss Telefero, last known to be living in Oxford. She's wanted for probation violation on chemical endangerment of a child and distribution of a controlled substance. And meet Ronrico Sima. Mr. Sima, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to appear on use and possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of marijuana second. And this is Tyler Webster. Mr. Webster, last known to be living in Lincoln. He's wanted for failure to appear on receiving stolen property first and theft of property third. Take a look at Samantha Lemons. Miss Lemons, last known to be living in Ashland. She's wanted for probation violation on chemical endangerment of a child. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in that half of the lineup that you might know where they are. And if you do, call the Crime Stoppers number, call the sheriff's office, call and ask for Captain Joey Stone. You call, he hauls.
That's right.
We are here with Alberta McCrory, mayor of Hobson City. And the ongoing saga of the journey of Hobson City, my goodness, you folks are just moving right along.
Yeah.
So, wait, before you talk about all the cool stuff, let me talk about my cool stuff for you. That,
Okay.
not mine, but you sent me the premiere that's coming up in Opelika this weekend, right?
Right,
So tell us a little bit about that. That's just cool.
Since I believe it was 2019, a young man who spent some time in Hobson City when he was growing up by the name of Theo Moore. He's a graduate of Troy State and I believe working on his doctorate at Tuskegee or someplace. But anyhow, he's very interested in the history of historic black towns and settlements. But he just really grew fond of Hobson City, having lived there and attended church there and has family members there. And he approached us in 2019 about doing a documentary on Hobson City that, you know, focuses on the very beginning and when the city started. And I believe that documentary is about a little more than an hour long. It has been out there. It's on YouTube. His company is Historical, HIZTORICAL, Vision Production, and this was one of his first projects. We had a showing of it in Hobson City back in 2019, I believe it was in November, and they are doing a screening of it in Opelika, Alabama, which is his hometown. Not his hometown, but where he's living now. And we'll be there Saturday morning at the public library in Opelika for the screening and a panel discussion about Alabama's first black municipality, which is Hobson City, Alabama.
Is somebody going to be filming that panel discussion?
You know, I didn't ask. I'm sure they'll be doing something with that and use it for future.
Yes, you need to get your hands on that because that'll
yeah.
be an interesting thing.
Yes.
And, you know, we could probably use that up here every now and again too.
Okay. Well,
All
I'll
right.
make sure whatever is out there that we get, you know, a copy of it.
Well, before we came on camera, you and I and Joe were talking about roof damage and some federal assistance you've been able to.
Yeah, well, what we're doing with some of the recovery money, we want to help the people in the community, and we know some of the problems that they're having, particularly with the roofs. And, you know, as the saying goes, when the roof is gone, the house is gone. So we want to be able to help some people with that problem stay in Hobson City by helping them with some money to help get their roof repaired. So we voted last night to allocate $15,000 to that. That's not a whole lot when you're talking about all of the monies that has come down that unfortunately we weren't privileged to get any of those millions. But what we do have, we want to make the best use of it, and we want to share some of what we have. But you have to be the homeowner. And we're looking at first the elderly and disabled people. And there will be some qualifications, pretty much like what we do when we've done the housing rehab program. And that we probably will go beyond some of the requirements that the housing rehab program has. You know, if the person doesn't meet some of the requirements, but they are the homeowner, they're the person whose name is on the deeds. And that's critical because we can't do it for somebody, and we don't do it for if you're renting a property. You know, that's
Right.
totally different. And we do want people to understand that you have to own the property, otherwise we don't have any control over that. You know, you can move out or do anything, and you know we will have lost our money.
Right,
So,
right.
so we don't do that.
How do people contact the city to find out if they're eligible or apply
We're
for
going to
that?
have them to call City Hall at 256-831-4940, 256-831-4940,
And you'll take them from there.
and we'll take it from there.
Yeah. Now, Joey, housing and crime kind of run together, right? I mean, you got houses that are in disrepair.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't that open you up for
It
some
does,
criminal activity?
having neighborhoods that are, are established and, houses that are, not dilapidated and things like that does kind of bring in a criminal element sometimes. So, we want to make sure, and we also, taking care of our elderly citizens and disabled citizens, that's a good thing as well, so keep them in houses that are livable and good places to live,
Yeah.
right? And that's what we're trying to do, so.
And that's what we want there in Hobson City. You know, we have been having some problems with people misbehaving in the park, the young men doing wheelies in the streets and things like that. And we need the same thing that you all need. When, people complain, you don't complain to me. Call the sheriff department and let them come out there and handle it. And unfortunately, we have a lot of problems in our housing projects, and we know that wasn't the original intent. The original intent was to provide some kind of affordable housing for people who could not afford it. But somehow the housing projects have gotten a bad name. And unfortunately, that's what has happened in our community. Because, and most of the times, not the people who have lived in that community a long time, who have, developed a love for Hobson City, they could care less about the history of Hobson City and how the people have strived to, maintain homes in a community and have a sense of community and family and togetherness. They don't care anything about that. So we talked last night about doing some of what Birmingham is doing with, you know, those wide speed breakers. Now, we have some little small speed breakers, but we're talking about putting those wide ones out there. And I understand that there's a club of fellows with certain kinds of cars that comes around and do these things in the community. And someone told me last night that they saw where they had done a wheelie on Quintard, and who would have the the nerve to do something like that? And so, you know, this can be very dangerous in a community. A car get out of hand, hurt people, kill people, and so we need the same thing in Hobson City as you're talking about crime watches. We need our people to call the sheriff department.
It takes the citizens,
and to
you know,
keep calling the sheriff department until somebody is apprehended and something is done.
Yeah, it takes the citizens in cooperation with law enforcement. You know, we can't do it on our own. You know, we have to have
Absolutely.
help from
Absolutely.
the citizens and people who are willing to stand up and straighten their communities out. You know, and somebody's got to be that
that's,
voice.
and that's what we're working toward doing. And it's good to have people to say, well, they can see some results of the work, you know, that's being done. You know, I can't say enough about the young man right now at McCrory who has been rehabbing homes in that community on his own. He had purchased the property, and he has a home right there on Martin Luther King now, beautiful home that he just redone. And so, you know, and that's what it takes, people coming in. And
Building a
stop
sense of
talking, but
community,
help make a difference. You know, as old folks say, put your money where your mouth is. You know.
Yes.
And and we see that happening, and it's creating a sense of community and pride when you see other people coming in. I mean, we can ask for all of the help we want, but until we get up and help ourselves, nothing is going to happen. We have to, you know, be the ones that take that lead and do what. Nobody's coming for us. Nobody's coming to help us. It's us, and we have to get it done.
You have to be willing to get involved.
Communities are very important. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back and talk more about your community and how it relates to all of our communities
Okay.
after we have the second half of our lineup. So stay here with us on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the second half of our lineup. This half brought to you by A1 Freedom Bail Bonding. Their phone number 256-236-7888. First up in the second half of our lineup is Justin Brewster. Mr. Brewster, last known to be living in Gadsden. He's wanted for failure to appear for possession of a controlled substance and possession of marijuana. Second. We'll take a look at Ricky Canada. Mr. Canada, last known to be living in Lincoln. He's wanted for failure to appear for possession of a controlled substance. And this is Alfred Hill. Mr. Hill, last known to be living in Bessemer. He's wanted for failure to appear for possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana. Second, and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And take a look at Kristen Milam. Miss Milam, last known to be living in Oxford. She's wanted for chemical endangerment of a child. And meet Savannah Hamilton Gutierrez. Miss Hamilton Gutierrez, last known to be living in Athens. She's wanted for probation violation for receiving stolen property first. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you have any information on these cases, please call Crime Stoppers. That number 1-833-251-7867. And welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in that half of the lineup. You might know where they are. If you do, call the Sheriff's Office. Captain Joey Stone here will take good care of you.
That's right. We'll send somebody to get them.
Yes, yes. And we're with Mayor Alberta McCrory of Hobson City. We're talking about all the wonderful things that keep going on down there. So you've got index cards with lists of things.
Just some things I just didn't want to forget. But let me just say, too, that I haven't been on since we had our Founders Day banquet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
And you were there, and it was an awesome event. And I cannot thank the people in Anderson, Calhoun County, Hobson City, Oxford, all of the people, you know, from everywhere who came out to support us. We had 300 tickets to sell, and we thought we had sold all 300. But at the last day, a few people turned a few tickets in, but that's okay. We had a great show, and Dr. Satcher was great, and Ms. Jarrus was great, one of our old teachers from Calhoun County Training School. So I can't thank the people enough for coming out, helping us to make that the event that it was.
That's going to be an annual event, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't wait for next year.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, it was great fun. It was great fun.
Yes. So.
Okay, so what else is on your
Okay,
list?
and so what else we have going on is we recently were notified by the RC&D Council here in Calhoun County that we are the recipients of a $5,000 grant for our museum.
Oh, nice.
And so we are excited about that. We're really excited about our museum. We had the young lady from the Anniston Museum to come out and look at what we're doing and give us some suggestions. She came out last week, I believe it was, and she said, "Oh, you got some beautiful things. You got some nice things," and you know, so we. And when somebody else who's in that field comes and you know, see what we have and tell us that we're on the right track, that helps. So we have the museum, and it's open every day during the hours that we are there. We have a lot of work to do, and we're going to need some volunteers to help us get that done. And so we'll get this funding that will help us to get some of the display cases,
Nice.
some other things that we need to really make it look like a museum. So things are not just hanging on the wall and, you know,
Right.
sitting on a...
So you're obviously still collecting artifacts. I'm sure people have
Yes.
artifacts. If somebody has something that they think might be appropriate for the Hobson City Museum, historic Hobson
Yes.
City, then how do they call the City Hall
Call
again?
City Hall
Okay.
and say, you know, we have something that we want to donate. And I'm particularly asking people to, if they have old pictures,
Oh, nice.
old pictures, because a lot of times, you know, they're in a trunk, in a box on the grandma's bed, somewhere. And they don't have to give us the picture. We can take a copy of the picture and give them their original picture back. But if we can get some copies of pictures, anybody with old band uniforms, football uniforms, things like that. One gentleman told me he's an Army veteran, and he told me he had to go home and look for a parachute that he was able to keep when he retired from the military. So.
Well, that's probably a good thing to hang on to,
Yeah,
especially if
because-
it worked.
Yeah, because we want to do a piece on the military, because a lot of black men served in the military in all wars.
Right.
And we want to be able to recognize that. And then women, it was surprising to me, I guess maybe over 20 years ago, that there was a black female who had served in the military, and she was like in her 70s or 80s then when we met her. So, you know, she had to have gone in back in the 40s or something like that, when it wasn't popular, especially in this area, for black women to go to the military. But
Right. It took a lot of courage to do that, and you know, for women in general during World War II. My mother was a Navy wave, and she was very
Okay.
proud to go down, join the Navy, and they put her in Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a big thing for women back then, but especially for black women certainly.
Yeah.
So good. That's really interesting.
See, I had two brothers that served in the Navy, one in the Army, and my mother's father was in the Navy.
Okay. So that would be a nice little thing to add to your museum,
Yeah.
a little military history of the.
Because one of the young men who earned the rank of colonel grew up across the street from the school, and there were a couple of other high-ranking men from that community who graduated from Calhoun County Training School. Franklin Todd was one, and Benny Boyd was another. I think they were majors or something, and so we want to highlight that. And then in the later years, maybe in the 80s or so, we've had several young ladies to join the military, and actually, you know, we've had 3 or 4 young women from that area to retire from the military. So, and that was a new thing, and so we want to be able to capitalize on that history.
Yeah, that history is important, and maybe you can tie it in with Tuskegee Airmen. You know, Tuskegee. I owe my life to one of the Tuskegee Airmen. My dad was a bomber pilot, and they had flown a mission out of Italy and lost an engine and were lagging behind the rest of the squadron, and were prey to German fighters. And one of those red tails
How about that?
escorted them down. And my dad, one of those guys, was here in Anniston several years ago. And my dad got to meet them, and they cried together. It was very sad. But yeah, so
Did you record that?
no, I didn't
No.
record it.
Well,
Of
we
course
probably
not.
need to get you to record that story.
Oh, I'd be happy to.
Let me
Yeah.
talk with Mayor Ford because you know he's an honorary red teller, so I'll
Okay.
see him on Saturday.
Oh, we'll mention
And
that to him. Yeah, I'd love to.
I'll mention that to him. So
I met those guys, and I've been down to that museum in
yeah,
Tuskegee.
it's
interesting,
awesome,
yeah.
isn't it? And I've been there a few times, and you know, and I don't care how many times you go and you watch that film, you see so much more, something that you missed the last time, and just to think of them and what they had to do during that time, and to be really committed to serving their country in spite of everything else that was going on.
A lot of guts and determination. So, well, we're going to have to break now.
Yeah.
So, we thank you for being on the show with us again, and we'll have you on again next month. You can
Yes.
update us on the premiere.
Okay.
And you all stay with us for the Crazy Criminal and the Crime Stoppers portion of our show. We'll be right back here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask your help on the next couple of cases between September 9th and September 10th. A storage unit on Spring Branch Drive in Alexandria was broken into. They got away with 3 tubs of boutique clothing, a box of makeup, an airbrush makeup machine, and a college textbook, all taken from that location. And between August 12th and August 26th, a wood-burning stove, 4 mud tires, and 2 deer cameras were all taken from a home on Seven Springs Road in Jacksonville. And that's it for our Crime Stoppers cases this week. If you have any information on these cases, please call Crime Stoppers. That number, 1-833-251-7867.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Joey,
Yes, sir.
you know what time it is?
Time for Crazy Criminal.
It is Crazy Criminal time. So take us there, Skitch.
So, this guy, Knoxville, Tennessee, he decides he's going to steal some televisions from the local Walmart and sell them in the parking lot to police. So, so he got caught and allegedly, we don't, allegedly selling stolen TVs to police in the Walmart parking lot where he just stole the TVs from.
So, Walmart has a lot of cameras, right?
Walmart has a very good camera system, just so
Yeah.
you know.
And they've got people watching the door.
Yes.
So he thinks this is a good career choice to steal TVs and sell them in the parking lot to police.
That's correct.
And I would like to think the police were probably in plain clothes so that this guy was not.
I'm sure they purchased a couple before they just took him down, So.
And he's got a lot of tattoos. Would you buy a TV from a guy with a bunch
he
of
looks
neck
like a
tattoos?
legit individual to me.
He
so.
does. I worry about tattoos on the face like that and on the neck. You're an investigator.
Yeah.
Is that a clue?
Well, I don't want to profile people or anything like that, but he's selling TVs in the Walmart parking lot. They sell TVs in Walmart. It's probably not the best place to sell a stolen TV.
Probably not. And I wonder if he had a good deal on them.
I'm sure he did.
So that would be like working the racetrack where they get a good deal on something. They're like, "What? It was a good deal. Why take it away from me?" Oh my goodness. Well, all right. So we got our crazy criminal. We got people that are looking for jobs.
That's right. That's right.
So how do they contact you if they want
Well,
to come
there's
work?
several different ways. If people want to apply, they can go through the Civil Service Board at the county. We have an app. They can fill out an application on our apps. Go
On
to
the app?
careers.
Where's
On
the app?
The app is it's the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office app.
Okay.
There's a thing that says careers on it, or you can go to our website at calcoso.org and go to careers and fill out the application online, and then we'll start the process from there.
So if you go to the App Store, you can search Calhoun County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, go to the App Store for Apple or Android and download our app. There's a career link there, website, or go to the Civil Service Board. Or you can come into the office and pick up an application.
Come into the office, talk to Joey Stone directly, and he will set you up for employment at the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office, needing deputies, corrections officers, dispatchers, what else you need? Everything, probably. So that's okay. And we appreciate you tuning in this week to Calhoun County's Most Wanted. We hope to see you again next week, but not in the lineup here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.